What's up, Sports Wars? It's Jeremy coming to you with another video, and today we're talking about Brett Favre because Brett Favre has been making some news recently when he asked President Trump about politics and sports, and he admitted that the sports leagues are struggling with ratings because of the political messaging, and a lot of people are talking about that. Now, I'm going to have a pretty different take on this than a lot of people would expect. Now, first and foremost, let me say, huge Brett Favre fan. Loved watching Brett Favre play in the NFL. Loved his years in the Packers uniform. I even loved watching him in the Jets uniform and then later in the Vikings uniform. Brett Favre is one of the greats. I don't put him in my top 5, but he's definitely a top 10 all-time great quarterback. And I was a big fan of Brett Favre. Now, recently, Brett Favre showed up in Tampa Bay rocking the Tom Brady Tampa Bay shirt. Didn't have a mask. People were upset about that because, of course, they were. I really do like Brett Favre, so I want to clarify that before we get into why I don't care about anything he has to say right now. So let's jump into it with the first story. And right here on the Daily Caller, it says, Brett Favre, fans clearly do not want political messages mixed with their sports. And it says, Brett Favre doesn't sound like he's a big fan of politics being injected into sports. According to the Washington Post, the legendary Green Bay Packers quarterback was a member of Sinclair Broadcast Group's America This Week earlier in the week and asked President Donald Trump, the NBA and NFL are struggling with lower ratings as fans clearly do not want political messages mixed with their sports. So how should the league support and promote anti-racism position without becoming political and alienating fans? And it says Trump responded, people don't want to see all the politics. They've got enough politics with me and everybody else, and they don't want to see it with football or sports on Sunday or whenever they happen to be watching. And it says, obviously, Favre is 100% correct. The last thing sports fans want to see when they turn on the game is politics being shoved in their faces. Nobody watches that, and the ratings reflect that. The TV ratings for the NBA Finals were atrocious this year and hit record lows, and then we kind of get into all of that. Now, I want to talk about why I don't care what Brett Favre has to say about this particular topic. And do you want to know why? Because this is something that he said earlier in the year. Brett Favre says Colin Kaepernick will be recognized a hero like Pat Tillman. Do not ever, ever, ever put those two names in the same sentence, Brett Favre, unless you are talking about how drastically different these two men are. Because Colin Kaepernick never, ever on his best day will even come close to Pat Tillman on his worst day. And that is the reality of the situation. So again, this is why when Brett Favre wants to say fans clearly don't want political messages mixed with their sports, I remember a comment like this. And I don't respect anything Brett Favre has to say on these issues whatsoever. Brett Favre puts Colin Kaepernick on a high pedestal. The Hall of Fame quarterback said Kaepernick will receive hero status because he was willing to sacrifice his NFL career to protest racial inequality and social injustice. Favre compared him to the late Pat Tillman, the former Arizona Cardinal safety who left his football career to join the Army on after September 11th. I can only think right off the top of my head, Pat Tillman is another guy that did something similar. Favre told CMC Sports, and we regard him as a hero, so I'd assume the hero status will be stamped with Kaepernick as well. Tillman, who was killed in Afghanistan in 2004 by friendly fire, played 4 seasons in the league after being a 7th-round pick in the 1998 NFL Draft. He then decided to give up his NFL career to fight for the United States. In 2016, Kaepernick, we all know Kaepernick's, nonsensical situation. He was a starter for the San Francisco 49ers. He saw great success. He was a great college football player. And eventually, when Harbaugh left the team, we started to see that Colin Kaepernick started to get exposed. He lost his job, and then he decided, I'm not good enough to play in the NFL anymore, so let me go ahead and protest and become a social justice warrior because there's a lot of money involved in that. That is essentially what happened with Colin Kaepernick. And for Brett Favre to put those two men in the same sentence in a comparable way is the most ridiculous thing imaginable. I do not respect Brett Favre. I do not respect his take on any of this stuff. He does not ever get any respect from me as long as he is standing by his comments on Colin Kaepernick. He said that at a time where it was trendy to jump on the bandwagon, and Brett Favre shows that he is scared to death of the mob. He is scared to death of the far left wing nonsense, so he's just going to fall in line with it. Colin Kaepernick is a trash human being. Colin Kaepernick is a trash person. Colin Kaepernick has figured out a way to monetize social justice weirdos, as I have, but the problem is he's acting like he is some type of hero, but in reality, he's done it by pandering to them. Whereas I and others have, benefited from calling out their hypocrisy, because these are parasites to society. They are leeches. They are like the flood from Halo, and they don't really have any real opinions or real ideas. They just are offended by everything. They are programmed to repeat nonsense, and that's exactly what they have done. Colin Kaepernick saw an opportunity when he became a failed NFL quarterback and he could not get his job back, so he decided to play a fake victim, much like Sean King has done on Twitter and so many others. Colin Kaepernick is not a hero. Colin Kaepernick will never be a hero. Colin Kaepernick is a trash person who brings trash ideas to the forefront. Brett Favre, do you support the fact that Colin Kaepernick says we need to abolish police and prisons? That's your hero, Brett Favre? I'm sorry. As much as I love Brett Favre as a player, and as much as I think he's on point with what he said to President Trump, the reality of the situation is you're the same person that said Colin Kaepernick is a hero, so you don't get any respect from me. So I will just kindly tell Brett Favre to F off, and probably get some more information and knowledge, and maybe grow some balls and call out Colin Kaepernick for the horrible human being that he is. You guys have a great day. Thank you very much for checking out this video, and we will talk to you later.